Hi, I'm Amy with The Genuine Table, and today I want to tell you a little bit about my story and how I found my own personal food culture. So if you're trying to figure out what I mean by personal food culture, that might be because we made it up, that we want to share it with you. So my story is probably the opposite of Jessica's. So Jessica had children who were underweight, who were scared of eating. I had the opposite problem, and I'll tell you a little bit about it. So all growing up, my whole life, I've always felt like I was just a little bit bigger than I should be to be healthy. I think that's normal for our culture. I think most teenage girls feel that way. And so I don't think that my story branched out from the norm, unfortunately, until I had children. So I got married, and my husband and I decided that we wanted to have a big little family, and we started right away. We had twin girls, and that was just lucky. And then when they were about a year old, we got pregnant again and had a little boy. So within 2 years, we had 3 children. And I think that whole process just kind of wreaked havoc on me physically. I was so happy, but yet I kind of lost touch of who I was. And just to see all those changes in my weight and in my body size was really scary. I joined some weight loss groups. We have an amazing community here. I live in a small town. It was something I was really passionate about, so I started leading these groups. And I just wanted to help people. I wanted to help myself and other women get healthy. That was the whole goal. And my weight fluctuated. It went up and down. I got down to my goal weight, and then I gained the weight back. After my 5th child, I was starting to feel defeated. I was obsessing over what I was eating to a point that I couldn't really live my life in a fulfilling way. And so I was trying to run these groups, and I was noticing the other women were struggling with the same things. And I thought, this is not how I want to make these women feel. And it was through watching this that I realized maybe I'm not the problem. Maybe the system is. And so I thought, I can't be doing this anymore. And so I really started to research this. And I researched other food cultures around the world, how the French eat, how the Italians eat, how the Japanese eat. And I read a lot of books, and I got really nerdy about it, into the science and everything behind it. And I read some books about intuitive eating and health at every size. And if you don't understand these terms, go ahead and Google them, or we're going to get into them more later for sure. I also wanted to know more about the nutritional side of food, even though I knew a lot about nutrition. I mean, if any of you girls are in the same place as me, you probably know exactly how many calories are in an apple, or I mean, ridiculous numbers that we don't need to know. But I still wanted to legitimately know from a scientific standpoint more about nutrition. So I went through Utah State, and I became certified as a national nutrition educator and really learned more about the nutritional side of food as well. So through this time, Jessica was dealing with her thing. My sister was dealing with her thing with her children, with their underweight issues. We were reading these books together. We were talking about it every day, trying to find a solution, and just being more and more frustrated because we lived in this American food culture. And it kind of just hit us that after so much research, we were like, we're just going to take control of this now, and we're going to create our own food culture. We took all of the things that we had learned and combined them down and picked out some general precepts that all of the healthy food cultures shared, and all of these scientifically backed methods for health share. And okay, so I should also share with you that we implemented the exact same food culture precepts. They fixed both of our problems. They fixed her children's under eating, picky eating, their family's fear of food, and they fixed my overeating. It's a really well-rounded approach that can work for most people, and we want to share it with you. The first thing that we decided to do was to make sure that we had food security. For me, this means planning meals ahead of time, making sure I know that there's going to be a meal on the table, that it's going to include foods that I love. Also, another thing with food security is planning out our meals to the point that we know we're going to be eating with our children. We're not just grazing and eating at different times every day. The kitchen isn't this like open-ended cafeteria where everyone just is in and out. It's a place for us to meet up and be together and have a structured meal. The second concept is we wanted to learn how to listen to our body's signals. And so this is something that's taught through intuitive eating and mindful eating. But basically it's where you're paying attention to your hunger and fullness cues. So instead of my whole fitness journey, I had been telling myself, okay, you have to either tracking by macros or calories or portion control. And it took me a lot of research to realize, guess what? My body will do that for me if I listen to it. So that's what this is all about. And the third precept for our own personal food culture is to ditch the food phobias. The biggest food phobia I had was sugar. I think that was something I've always been afraid of. And even, I don't know if you can relate to this, but even just like the idea of eating a cookie would be terrifying because I didn't know if I had one, if I'd be able to stop. So it was easier for me just to say no. It was so much easier to be extreme. And food phobias are where we're telling ourselves that certain foods are bad for us and we can't ever have it. To where mentally I'm not saying that's a bad food anymore and I can have it whenever I want it, has helped me over the long term to be able to actually make a batch of cookies and maybe only have one or two or not any, depending on how I feel that day, and seriously not even think about it. Like, I don't have to fight about it. The fourth precept that I want to talk about today is to eat joyfully, and this one is wonderful. And so to eat joyfully for us, we wanted to be able to look at our food like a chef instead of like nutritionist. So we wanted to be able to put our food together, thinking about the flavors, the textures, the colors on the plate, and to sit down and enjoy that food with our families or with the people that we love. Number 5 is to eat a variety of foods. And for me, this is when I really love. I love to try new food. So it's fun for me to buy whatever's on sale at the grocery store and try and figure out how to cook it. I enjoy this, but I think even if you don't like trying new things, making sure you're cycling through the things that are comfortable for you and maybe even pushing those boundaries every once in a while helps it so that we don't have to think about the nutrition side of it because we have a variety of foods in our diet that we can get the nutrients we need. And if we're listening to our body signals, that happens naturally if it's on the table. And the last one is body positivity. And this one I am so happy to see is becoming part of our culture in America. That a curvy woman can share her own story and her own pictures and people can praise her for normalizing that because it is normal. We all have different body types. We can't all expect to look the same, and it would be so boring if we did. And if we're eating in the healthiest way that we can, why does it matter what size we are after that? Why can't we just eat according to what makes us feel the best and trust that that's the best it's going to be, and that's okay. We can love ourselves no matter what. But let me share something with you, because if you're like me or like I was, you'll probably listen to this and just be like, yes, that's fine, it worked for you, but I'm different. I need to do this. Because if I don't, I will be out of control. Okay, that's how I was too. But it kind of got to a point that I was like, what I'm doing isn't working. And doing the same thing over and over and over again and hoping for different results just will drive you insane. It drove me insane. And so to get to a place where I could just say, you know what, I'm just going to take care of myself no matter what, because I deserve it no matter what. I think it can be really hard, but if you can do that, the rest of it will make you feel better. You'll be happier. And let me share something with you. I am actually the same size now as I was when I was exercising for 2 hours a day. I haven't gained any weight and I haven't lost any weight, but I love myself so much more. I can finally look in the mirror and say, okay, I'm okay with you. And I've never been there before. And I think that's what I'm hoping, is through all of this, that we can kind of let go all these frustrations trying to live up to something that really doesn't exist for most people. And to be able to look in the mirror and say, I love you because of what you're doing with your life. I'm really excited to share this journey with you, and I'm excited to hear about all of your stories. I know everyone has one, and that's what makes us all amazing. And we are going to be sharing a lot more content about this to get into each of the precepts over the next few weeks. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and like and subscribe, and we'll keep going. We'll get going with this. So thanks, guys. Bye.